Afternoon, guys. What's going on?
So far, Raheem, what excites you or who excites you on this defense thus far?
It's a lot of exciting things, a lot of exciting people. It's fun to be around a bunch of new people that you haven't really been around. It's fun to watch people grow and get better throughout the process. I've had so much fun, being able to learn a lot of things from our guys, some of the really good things that they've done in the past. I've had a lot of fun being able to implement some things that we want to do, to be able to talk about it. We have a little bit of experimental time. In these moments, they've all been great. It's been so much fun to be around all of these guys, but when you're just around a guy like Fred, you're around Greenlaw, even though they're not practicing, it's a little different when you're around those couple of guys that just put so much into their work, put so much time into it. Bosa has been really fun to be around because he's the most even-keeled dude I've ever seen in life, and I love that. Nothing's going to bother him. He's going to be ready to deal with just about any situation that's going to come up, and you got to start with those type of leaders. And then talking about the guys that's out there playing for us, that's in those shoes. What they talking about, Wallow, some of the guys that's getting coached by the guys that we just mentioned. They've been a lot of fun. Romello, being a young punk, out there just running around doing all the things that he's able to do, getting all the tutoring from Chris and all the guys in his room. So I am excited about a lot of people. That's just a few just to mention.
I'm sure you are very familiar with his playing career, but having been around KJ Wright for a few months now as a coach, what has kind of stuck out to you about the way he's transitioned? Into
how inquisitive he is. You can see why he was a great player. The attention to detail, the things that he brings to our meeting rooms, the experience from being out there, the experience from hearing it from a player's view, how he articulates and takes it as a coach and able to give it to those guys and deliver it. And he's got, Johnny Holland around him, one of the all-time greats. And those two have been able to work together as well as I've seen.
Mentioned how important it was to be quality control coach. I know that's a role that you played, and Kyle has always been big on that. What is the value in having that role before stepping into it?
Yeah, I think the value is not just being a quality control coach. I think the value of being a quality control coach with a guy like Monty Kiffin, or being a quality control coach now with a guy like Kyle Shanahan. When you work under those wings, you have no idea but to work extremely hard, work with a purpose, and absolutely have to know exactly what you need and what you want in order to get those guys what they need and what they want. And you can't help but learn when you're in those environments. So extremely fortunate for myself, extremely fortunate for Kyle, and now being able to mentor people like that, having Jake Lynch with me and Cam Brown, some of those guys, I'm seeing some of the same benefits that they're able to get from all these great coaches on the staff as well.
You mentioned Fred Warner and Drake Greenlaw. They always talk about this expectation that, lives in the building here with the 49ers. Just, you mentioned them kind of coaching some of the younger guys up. Which of the rookies, if all of them, if one of them, and then in what ways have you seen them kind of buy into that system and show that they are eager to kind of make their move here?
It's really easy with that room because they're in the same room every single day. We have our defensive meetings, and they're in there influencing those things. And inside the defensive meeting room, you see those guys, not a rookie, but how they influence Stout. And how they influence Stout and how they're around Stout and how they make him think and behave and sit next to each other every single day. Can't get Stout to smile, but he has such a serious demeanor, and he's picking up all things from Fred, Greenlaw, all the guys around him. That pit ball type mentality that Greenlaw brings every single day, that knowledge, that spirit that Fred brings. And then you watch those guys move into their own individual rooms, and you see what he's doing for Doug or Larry Worth, and watching those guys be able to come here late in the afternoons and really pick up things and learn and develop and grow. They want to be like those guys, and they set such good examples for everybody in the building that is always going to be a good thing with those guys.
Follow up on that with Stout. He was one of the rookies that kind of made a name for himself last season. What have you seen out of him this season? If there are conversations between the two of you that kind of show, okay, this guy is really, bought in.
He's a great listener. He's a great note taker. He is really locked in. He's one of the guys that wants to go out and absolutely do it at a very high level every single day. He puts an extreme amount of pressure on himself to be great for his room, for himself. I got to find out what his internal why is, but whatever his why is, man, I love it.
Multiple interceptions today. I know it's June practice OTAs, whether it was in team or maybe 7-on-7. How important are those just for you to see your guys make plays? And was there some understanding that the quarterbacks were going downfield? Were you kind of wanting to see your guys get pressured deep?
I want pressure every day, and our offense does such a great job. I think that's the part of working together. I think it's our job in the offseason to go out there and practice the high-level plays that you want to be able to get while you know it on either side, and be able to look at those pinpoint players to be able to make those accurate decisions on who's going to be the very best, out there, even put in hard positions. And when you see guys make plays on the ball in 7-on-7 periods or team periods, whatever it is, I think that's always a good thing and what you want to have happen. I think the guy gaining more confidence, I think is going to be a part of the standard. I think it's always been a part of the standard here, and we got to get back to that at a very high level in order to go out to compete in this very hard division.
Catch at least one deep one. I know you're going against.
Strickland did, man. Strickland looked good. You know, he hit us on, I think it was 2. I think he hit us on a deep route down both sidelines. And he's a very talented young man. He's gotten better and better every single day that he's been here. I'm loving where he's going. I'm loving his transition to whatever he's got going on with those guys on offense. He's very smart. He's very sharp. He's very articulate. We definitely have done a nice job in our scouting department and profiling the guys that we need to get around here to win.
Do you anticipate a competition for the starting safety spot in spots in the summer?
I think that's the most important thing. I think it's spots, right? Nobody ever gets comfortable in the National Football League. Coaches, players, and nobody. I think you want to go out there and have high-level competition across the board. I think it's less about, starting spots for coaches. It's more about roles and what kind of roles can people do to help you win. And I think people finding their roles, whether you call Stout a starter or not, he's a starter. Being that nickel role that he stepped into last year and played at a very high level, I think those things matter. Whether you talk about the safeties and how they're going to play and what their role is going to be, I think you want those guys to go out there and compete at a very high level and give you everything that they can. And they've shown a lot of good things, despite what might have been said about these guys in the past. And I'm really excited to watch those guys play. Picked up one yesterday, actually, National Davis as well.
In your coaching experience, how much of an impact for someone like Fred to be out there and match the energy and root these guys on before coming into training camp? Does that excite the younger guys more, in your opinion?
It does. No disrespect to all the great players that I've been lucky enough to be around. I don't know if anybody's had the juice that Fred has. The greatness, the great mornings, the great days, the great attitude. The mentality to go out every single day and win the day. He brings a different attitude every single day, and it is absolutely refreshing. I've seen the ups and downs from some of your great players, whether it's been the Aaron Donalds, the Jalen Ramsey, or a Derek Brooks, a John Lynch, a Rondé Barber. I haven't seen a guy be as consistent as he's been since I've been here as Fred. I mean, he's every single day.
Mustafa aside after he had that coverage for that long pass to Jacob Cowing. What was the teaching moment there?
That was a setup. That was one of those plays we talked about. You put those guys out there in some of those hard situations, and it's about being visual. And it's not about not seeing so much and being able to be that angel over top to be able to help us play the right way, to be able to save a tough play that could have been a tough play. He covered a lot of grass and, could almost get there in that setting when you're not touching the quarterback. So if you can get close in those situations, that's a good thing, because hopefully, you got Bosa and some of those guys that have saved you on some of those.
And just what have you seen from him in the past few weeks?
I've seen a bunch of improvement. He touched the ball today, got a chance to make a play on the ball, one of the picks we just talked about. I watched him, absolutely sit in the front of the room every single day, pick up everything, learn everything, find ways to do extra on his own and all the stuff that he's doing. And it's a wonderful group. This team has been built and constructed the right way by a bunch of really good people. And you see it every single day when you come to work.
Were you in the building yesterday when you found out about Myles Garrett going to LA? And then
yeah, we all were. I think it was about 10:25 that it came across to most of us. And great player, right? What do you do? You go out there and you find a way to win that game no matter what. I know those guys really well, and I wasn't shocked one bit.
What are your impressions of?
I was coming to you. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear this question. Was that a Myles Garrett question?
He said something about Myles.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that was kind of, but
He beat you to it. Now you stumped.
No, yeah, no, nothing. I have absolutely nothing. No, well, based on your experience, did you have any thoughts or inkling that if any team's going to do it, it's going to be them?
I'll be honest. I've been out of that loop. We've really been focused on just the defense and doing all the things that we've been doing. So I haven't been kind of following all the stuff you guys probably have been and what's going to happen after June 1st, what's going to happen on all these dates that come up in the league. That just wasn't my gig right now. But when it came across, it was no shock in my head.
Another safety question. With this defense, we've heard mostly sort of interchangeable, not necessarily just a strong safety, not necessarily free safety. Is that your mode too, or are you looking for some traits separately from those two guys?
There's definitely going to be some different traits, because it'd be pretty selfish to say a certain type of guy couldn't play in a system. But I don't think that's necessarily true. But I just think the league has kind of evolved more to the traits where they're kind of cross-trained. And they can do different things. I think you got some traits that add qualities to different areas, kind of the role stuff that we talked about before. Whether that could be close to the line of scrimmage in the box, doing something as a linebacker S-type player, or doing something as a big nickel S-type player, or a outside whatever you want to call those different positions that we call them now. But like definitely different traits, but definitely have a lot of similar traits when you talk about playing in the back end.
Okay, I've got a new one.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Based on when Osa was traded from the Cowboys, just the reaction from Dallas, from coaches, players, even media was like, "Oh, dang, he's leaving." Can you just speak to whatever you've gleaned from him, his character, him as a person?
Him as a worker, the human, the guy that is coming here and providing great energy as well. I love his approach to every single day and what he does to make sure he's ready to go, for his teammates. He hadn't gotten a chance to really prove anything like, none of us have. And I think he's embracing his environment that he's in and really loving it and being around his coaches. And, those guys, whether it's Cam or whether it's Gregory and or Chris Eric and all those guys that with him, they absolutely go out there. They got a whole posse down there, guys, that I don't want to go nowhere near their Indy. So it's fun to watch all those guys.
What does Eberflus bring to the mix? I know he was a walk-on once upon a time. He's worked with a lot of great defensive coaches, Saban and others. How are you going to utilize his skills?
He's been a sharp, calming, easy presence, for me. He's the guy that can see big picture things. He can talk about, what our tackling plan looks like, how we look on our approaches. He's been a guy that's been able to come to you and to be able to talk some of the different things that's going on around the league, some of the different techniques and stuff that we talk about. And, right now he's being a sponge and he's taking everything and he's been able to come back on the board and be able to question and try to finalize all the things that we want to do. He's been absolutely awesome.
With mandatory minicamp being canceled next week, what is your plan for the rookies? Do they stay extra? How do you get them up to date and geared up for the start of training camp?
Obviously Kyle handles all those things, but a lot of the guys like to be around each other, and I know I hate to keep bringing them up, but I know Fred, organizes a lot of that with our guys. And, our guys get a lot of, positive peer pressure from each other to make sure they come back ready to go and trying to stay mentally sharp, but also, finding a way to get away and be with their families and do the things that you need to do in order to be ready for a long season. So the Niners have played a lot of very long seasons around here, and you still got to have time to get away and do some things, but at the same time, be ready to go when we come back to training camp.
What struck you about just watching Brock Purdy, quarterback?
We got a Brock pick today. I let him know that right after practice. That was awesome. He's going to be so mad at me for telling the media that, but you guys were there. But you guys were there. That's a big one. Was it 2? Oh, I didn't get a chance to brag.
Were there a lot during the off-season program?
Say it again, I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, he is the layer king. He's so accurate. He puts the ball in the right spot. Keeps the ball in his hands. He's tortured me for years. And it's so nice to be around him. It's so refreshing to be around that whole group. And the energy that they bring, getting a chance to be nosy and going there with those guys is always fun because you learn from Mick, you learn from, Brock, Matt, all of those guys that are in that room. And I enjoy going there and being able to be with those guys sometimes too.
Early returns been with competition in
I'm
that
so
linebacker
sorry,
room?
I missed the beginning of that.
No, it's all good. Early returns with the competition in that linebacker room, what have you noticed? Outside of Fred and Dre, guys are competing for limited spots.
Obviously, Fred and Dre's they're not doing the stuff out there right now. They're doing the mental reps. They're back there hanging out with me, harassing me in the back. But they've been able to, with those guys, you got young guys and Duggar, you got young guys and Larry Worth, you got young guys, Nick, the guys that have been able to get out there and have a chance. Nick in his second year, I'll be able to go. But then there's some guys like Wallow that's really stepped up and, filled that role right now as the communicator on the field. And Jalen has done a nice job of going out there playing linebacker as well. I've been really excited about that group and what they've been able to do since the guys that I've seen. These guys have been awesome. Obviously got a couple guys on the shelf right now, not going right now, but I look forward to those guys getting training camp and competing.
The 2 players with the fastest get-off time last year were Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett. You guys went out and got Romello Height. Can you talk about the stress that first step puts on an opposing offense and why there's so much emphasis on that in today's NFL?
It's just a belief in National Football League, right? It's about, really less about that, but more about how do you mentally and physically affect the quarterback. And having the stress of knowing that you got guys with great get-off is one of those ways to definitely mentally know that that's going to be a part of it. But getting to it, the quarterback, and getting to those spots, being able to close space, being able to, if you don't sack them, being able to bother people, that's certainly what people has been able to, that's what certainly what Bosa's been able to do, and obviously Myles. So being able to go out and get guys like Romello and different guys across the board to be able to help us do some of the same things is certainly going to be helpful for us.
All right, guys. Last one. Obviously, the goal is to be better than last year. How do you want to quantify that? Do you want to see it in sacks and INTs and pressures?
I am so unselfish. It's more about team wins. So like for us, man, it's just like, how do we go out and be a better football team? And whatever that requires and whatever that means, let's do that. How do you go out and help the Niners get to the ultimate goal and what we want it to be? And that will never waver from how I believe and how I think. I don't have selfish goals. I don't have those type of things. I know they come up. I know they will come up. I know they will be the standard. They will be tested. But like at the same time, Trent just walked in, so I'm leaving. See you guys later.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Gone through contract situations here in the past. How much of a load off your shoulders was it to have it finalized so early in the offseason this time?
Oh, it was good. I think it was load off everybody's shoulder. But honestly, this time around wasn't as stressful. Everything was kind of how I expected it to go. Obviously, there was pushback a little bit on both sides, but for the most part, we both knew what we wanted to do. We seen things pretty similar for the future, and so it's pretty easy to get through it.
That contract is structured. Do you expect Foley to play, obviously not only this season, but next season as well?
Yeah.
What was your reaction to the Myles Garrett trade?
Yeah, same as everybody. Everybody is not in Rams country, but yeah. It sucks.
Coach Forster said yesterday that kind of he came in really early, watched film, and then once he broke it down play by play, it didn't seem as big of a task. It's just taking it one step at a time. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with my coach. At the end of the day, you got to go out there and play. Myles is the scary part is he's still a young player, so he's still going to get better. I know it's scary after seeing what he did last year, so I'm never expecting to run into the same player. I know that we see him week 1 in Australia, he probably will be a little bit better than he was last time I seen him. And, just got to buckle up, man. It's going to be tough. I ain't the only one got to block him here. It's 31 other teams got that same news, so, it is what it is.
I know we asked you a form of this.
Coach Forster yesterday, as you just mentioned, but I asked him about the get-betters and who seemingly has done the most work trying to, close that gap on what they were asked to do in the offseason and coming in. He said specifically Dominic Pooney, and then he said Connor Colby has also made a jump, but specifically Dominic. What have you seen since being back?
I've been back a total of about 36 hours, so I hadn't seen a whole bunch, but Pooney's an ultra-talented guy. He's just gifted. He's a gifted player. He's a gifted athlete. So, that's to be expected. I expect him to make that leap, to make that Pro Bowl leap, to be in that conversation. He's that good, and I think he should expect it out of himself too.
I'm going to form this question a lot, but having just said what you said about playing the next 2 years, did it cross your mind that this would be the last contract you sign, or are you still? Yeah. So where did you envision this being it, or
probably?
Yeah. What's that thought like then when you?
Scary. It's scary. I'm toying between the idea of going till I can't no more and just, leaving while I still got some good product left, and not getting ran out the league. So. It's been a long time, and had a daughter that she was born a few months before I got drafted. So, I'm going on year 17. She's turning 17. So, you just, as a father, you feel like, damn, I done kind of sat and really kind of missed her whole life. From until adulthood. So, part of me wants to, when she go off to college in a couple of years, I want to, be there and be accessible, and I don't want to be that father that, shadows the kid, but I'm gonna be close. You know what I mean? I want to be close. I don't want to be somewhere at a joint practice. You know what I mean? When it's time for her to move into school and stuff like that. So it's little stuff I got to think about, and obviously, I can't tell the future. I don't know. I'm still a competitor. It's hard not to compete when you can, so we'll see.
What if your daughter says, but you're so close to playing until you're 40? Come on, Dad.
She might. And that might give me a little extra boost, but, we'll see.
You really emotional about after the loss in the playoffs about what that team achieved despite the injuries and everything lost. Did that affect your thinking that, okay, I want to keep going to be a part of this?
No, I think I've always been fully committed to these next few years. Like I didn't have any thought last year that this can be my last season, or that, you know, despite what everybody believed, I always knew that I had a couple more years left in me. So that did restore like the fun into it, I guess you could say. From the season prior was, you know, excuse my language, was a shit show. And, you know, for us to be faced with as much adversity the next year and to show that we can overcome that and we can, you know, subscribe to the coaching and go out there and execute the game plan, and we can be successful. So, yeah, it did kind of revive that fun that you get addicted to when you're playing and winning, you know.
He's had some contract issues. I mean, over the last few years, you were one of them where you didn't sign until the very end, but there were other louder ones. Doesn't look like there's going to be any of that. Who knows? But it doesn't look like. What kind of impact can that have to start a training camp, to start a season?
I mean, just having everybody here, you know, and not having to answer a couple extra questions every time you get your media availability. You know, it might take a little load off, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we're going to be a better team. We got to worry about that. Like, that honestly doesn't play that big of a part. Obviously, when you got guys missing the whole training camp, like me, or, you know, obviously that does take a little toll. But, yeah, I mean, as a player, you wake up every day, you're just trying to do your job and be the best player you can be. And I think we all carry the attitude. None of that other stuff really matters.
Gotten a long look at Enrique Cruz, but what are your first impressions of him?
Just very coachable. I know I was just working with him yesterday. I just mentioned a couple things, but it was refreshing to see the next play literally corrected. And what we're talking about is not like easy stuff. And, you know, I mentioned it to coach, and that was his feedback. Was like, man, that's been him since he's been here. You tell him one time, and he corrects it, you know. So, like I said, I haven't been here long, haven't had a chance to be with him for an extended period of time, but, you know, from what I heard since I've been back, I've heard really good things.
You guys have a month before training camp, and do you do the same things in your 17th year, 18th year that you did when you were coming out of Oklahoma in this month before camp, or has this month changed quite a bit through the years?
Yeah, I think every year I try to figure out a way to trim the fat and just, you know, focus on what is going to contribute to me being a better football player. So, you know, just looking forward to doing that, you know, and that's one year it might be doing more of this and then the next year doing less of that. You know, it's you never really know. It's just a feel thing, you know, once you start to get into that countdown and you kind of see where your body is and you think, oh, I might need a little bit more of this, or I might tone back. I'm strong enough. I'm not strong enough, you know. So I'll be lying to sit here and say I do the same thing every off season, because I don't, but, you know, similar.
You mentioned the importance of the bounce-back season after 24. For you, when you're trying to do the calculus of how much longer you want to play, how important was it to have that bounce-back season and then to see the team kind of, again, reinvest in veterans who can help you win now?
Yeah, I think that was really important. It's really important. Like I said, I don't think it would have made me retire anyway, but it definitely lights a fire, and it reignites that, you know, that feeling that you had when we were going to NFC Championship games, we were going into Philly and winning a playoff game. Like, that does feel really good, and it does give you something to look forward to.
Some of that with veteran experience, you guys bring in Mike Evans. You know, what was kind of your take on bringing in Mike Evans and then bringing back Drake Greenlaw?
Man, huge. First off, Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame player, and you know, you don't find too many players that, while they're still playing, you can confidently say they're going to be a Hall of Fame player. So having one of them on our team, another one on our team, so to say that, I mean, it means a lot. I mean, his presence, just what he's done over the years, like, you know, it's hard for a lot of kids, not like younger guys, not to fangirl over a guy like that. When you know, and even myself, I watched him from afar. Where we trained together early in his career, like worked out a few times. So I've known him for, you know, the duration of his career, but just to watch his success over the years and watch how, you know, he's been a consistent talent in this league and, you know, breaking the records. I think he tied Jerry Rice. Like, he just did some did a lot of things that probably going to be a lot of one-offs. And so just to have him in the building, to see how he's out there running around, to see, Coach put him up on the big board today, in OTAs in year, 13, 14, like taking it as serious as he did. That's to me is an example of why he is who he is. And, to piggyback off that, just having Dre back, that's a brother. It's one of our brothers, and it sucks seeing him in the orange last year. But, it's family. You got unconditional love. So just seeing him come back, having him in that locker room, just having that presence, that grit, that toughness he bring, and, it's like having Batman and Robin back, like him and Fred is just, two of the best linebackers in the league, and we're just so lucky to have both of them in the same room.
I put Mike Evans on the big board, but I don't, so can you explain?
On the screen, team meeting, watch everybody looking at the same screen. Yeah.
Two more on the right here. Yeah, we've heard maybe some grumbling, maybe from your head coach about Australia, that it's the Rams, takes away the short trip to LA. Any thoughts about that, Trent, that it's starting off in Australia and it's the Rams you're playing?
It took away a home game, in my opinion. It's probably the only thing. It's probably why we had to go to Australia to play the Rams, to kind of cover up some of the, deficiencies when it comes to ticket sales on their end when we go to LA. So I'll just leave it at that. But no, nobody wants to travel 20 hours to play a football game. Nobody ever be excited to do that.
Go ahead, Jesse. Last one.
You mentioned the resiliency of last year's team. What would you hope for this year's team? What hallmark would you hope for them? Resiliency last year, this year is what?
I would hope that we don't have to show how resilient we are. I hope that we can show how dominant we are and how dominant we can be and how dominant we should be. And, with the offseason we've had, the players we've added, I think we got a good chance to go out there and show that. But, showing that you can fight through adversity is always good, and that's something that you take pride in. But nobody wants adversity, right? So hopefully we don't got to fight through all those injuries and stuff, and hopefully we can just kind of, be the team that we know we are.
All right. Thank you, guys. Osa's right here, ready? Stood out to you since coming into this building?
I feel like from the moment I got here, it's definitely like a top-down, anything it takes to win mentality. Anything you guys need, whatever. Like if it's taking us in the direction of winning, we're doing it.
What was that like to get that phone call that you were coming here?
I don't think anyone enjoys getting that phone call, especially just like on a random afternoon, but it is what it is.
So you're more of a technician now, I'm sure, than when you came out of college. Who's helped you along the way? Who would you credit for some of the growth you've had technique-wise in this game?
Definitely, I had some great coaches in college. I feel like a lot of good coaching in college kind of helped me be ahead of the eight ball for sure. And then just taking something from every coach that I've had, like my first D-line coach being in the league, his name's Adam Dirty. He's defensive coordinator for the Seahawks now. Taught me a lot, especially about the game, just details, other side of the ball, and just learning.
So did you have any inkling at all that a trade might be coming before you got that call?
I heard rumors, but that was about it.
How did you digest it? When did you get to the point of like, oh, I'm excited for this, past the shock?
Not gonna lie, it took me a little while, but initially, I knew everyone was excited to have me, so that was something that just made me feel better. I'm like, I'm very much wanted, very much needed, and then just knowing the fact that I'm coming to a really good team, going from one team that's really good to another really good team. They were just in the playoffs, a lot of guys that were hurt, not going to a place that's rebuilding anything at all, coming to a place with a lot of talent, just adding to it.
The style of play, how does this compare to Dallas, and how does it sort of mold to your skill set?
I was in attack front last year, so being in attack front just marries up, and then just adding a little bit of a different scheme to it, I feel like is going to be really good. And Raheem's got some things that are just going to bring it to life.
Listen, you were known as that.
When you think about the transition from going from Dallas coming out here to the West Coast, how has that process been? What adjustments have you had to make? But what have you liked about actually being here?
I mean, I love the weather for sure. You know what I mean? Just get into a routine, really. Just find a place to do like Pilates and stuff like that. Good body work people. Asking my teammates, meeting everybody was good. It's definitely more expensive, so that's probably the biggest adjustment. But other than that, I love it out here.
Teammates have kind of been like really helpful. Maybe conversations you had to kind of get adjusted to what's happening here.
I feel like the D-line kind of welcomed me with open arms. Coach Kasarik definitely came in. We talked about some things that I need to get better at and just kind of been hammering those out this offseason. Fred helped me find a place to do Pilates, so just tapping in with some of his people, and then got Nita and Lady from Mustafa, just different people around just helping me with different modalities and things that I like to do.
You talk about an organization being great top to bottom, wanting to win. How does it compare here? What are the differences?
I'm not gonna lie, that's a hard one to answer. What were you saying?
You were known as obviously a leader with the Cowboys, but now you're, as far as the defensive tackles here, I mean, you're surrounded by a lot of young kids. I mean, does it change? Is this a different dynamic as far as, I don't know, just your leadership style, or really having to make sure you bring these guys along?
I would say it definitely puts me in a position to be able to teach some people, show guys how I do things, and more of a leadership position, just because there's a lot of guys that are young and they're willing to learn. So, I've always been someone that tries to lead by example. So just being able to speak on that, show them how I got to where I'm at, and just different ways that they could help their game in any way, just based off what I know and my experience.
These are a little bit more, I guess, ahead compared to what they used to be because they spent so many years of eligibility in college?
I'll say so. These guys are very polished, I feel like, for the most part. They're picking up what Coach Kasarik is teaching pretty quickly, and they look good.
What have you seen from C.J. West? He's been out there. Jason Halton, what are the defensive tackles?
I don't think C.J. is a rookie. This is year 2. So I feel like he's improved a lot. Just Coach was actually showing some tape this morning from last year to this year, so just seeing the improvement, the way he's moving, flexibility, the bend that's just been added to his game, and the power that he brings, just adding that little piece is going to take a huge step this year, I feel like. And Grayson's quick. That boy's get off is actually really good. He moves really well for someone his size, so it's cool to see.
A couple more.
Grayson played some receiver back when he was in high school. Did he ever talk about that? And have you ever played with a defensive tackle who has like a wide receiver background, even if it was in high school?
Never. I don't know if he said receiver or running back, but I wouldn't say that I've no one that I knew that was a receiver, but you can see the athleticism for sure.
So you're going back to Texas to play against the Cowboys. How big is that game going to be for you personally?
It's going to be exciting. I love playing at AT&T, and it's a good team, so, I think it's going to be a fun one.
I was talking yesterday about what great win rate you have rushing, going after the quarterback and being around quarterbacks. What about stopping the run? Where are you on that, and how do you see yourself in improving that on the defense?
I feel like that's something that I feel like I've done well in the past, just being able to unlock some tools that I've been used to using. Talked about those first day, some of the things that I put on tape, just being able to use those tools and then just do it within the scheme. I feel like it's going to help a lot.
Raheem Morris and Chris Kasarik.
Chris knows what he's talking about. When we got here, everyone was doing things, went through and met with everyone individually, things that they can improve on. Got me and then Cam last because he took the time to sit down and watch all of our tape from last year and really be intentional with the things that we could improve on. So he's very intentional, very consistent with his energy, and just the same guy every day. And Raheem, I like the scheme. I feel like it's pretty simple. It's going to allow us to play fast.
Last one. If anybody's got anything. All right. Thanks, Osa.
Appreciate you guys.
Howdy. Oh, that's loud.
And where are you in your process right now?
Well, thanks for asking. I'm doing great today. Had a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day. Boys are playing football. Me personally, I'm doing awesome. My wife's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. Good for me. And my Achilles is doing great. No setbacks in my recovery. Checking all the boxes, doing everything I'm supposed to do. My surgeon's super happy. My physical therapist in LA who works with him is super happy. Niners are happy. I'm happy.
The team have been pretty optimistic that there's at least a chance for week one. Does that feel realistic to you here on June 3rd?
Realistic? Yeah, I mean, at this point, even when I had the surgery and Ella Trush told me, he said, hey, I think if you just take this, if you do everything the right way, you have a chance. I mean, it definitely ignites something and makes you push for it. So, we're on track or ahead of schedule.
Does Australia throw a complication into that, a 16-and-a-half-hour flight?
Playing 4 days early and a 16-hour flight? No, not at all. Just another challenge. That's all it is.
Happen on a long plane trip when you are recovering from an injury like that?
Couldn't say. I've never done it. I just know, we fly so much. Our average flight's 5-6 hours. So, to me, it is what it is. We're going to work. It's an awesome opportunity to play in Australia. It'll be a really fun plane ride home if we win. That's our goal. Go over there, play in front of an awesome crowd, huge stadium, 110,000 people. It sounds sick to me. Might as well just take advantage of it.
What was your thought when you heard the Rams traded for Myles Garrett?
Good for them. Nothing I can do about it, but they traded it for him for a reason. We're in a very good division. It's going to be a really fun challenge.
Does anything change in your routine as you are trying to come back, like you said, possibly ahead of schedule to make sure that you're kind of keeping your body in the right condition to do so?
I got back to 100% body weight jogging 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And so I haven't really been able to do too much. And so at this point, it's just there's just boxes you have to check before they're clear to do something else. And then once I'm actually allowed to go train the way I want to train, then it'll be just really fun. I'll be able to go back and doing all the football movements I want to do, run blocking, pass pro, running routes, catching the ball. So then it's just, hey, knock some of the rust off because I haven't done a lot since January and just get back out there.
What do today? For you, when we talked to Nick, obviously it's a different injury given his knee, but he kind of talked through the mental process that he took trying to get better and get back. How has that been for you since, you seemed like you were in good spirits when you left, when Locker cleaned out when we talked to you, but how has that process of recovery been for you?
Really easy, honestly. It's my first major injury of my career. Let's knock on wood for that. And like I said, unfortunately, I missed one game. That sucks. It was a playoff game, but then they tell me I have an opportunity to play week one. It's all right, well, there's not half the season gone. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do, work incredibly hard, maybe do some extra things that I'm allowed to do, hey, I'll make it work. And so it's been a pretty easy mental process for me.
What were you able to do today? And did you lose a bunch of weight this offseason and have to put it on like you did in the past?
No, not necessarily. I only dropped probably 10 pounds this offseason. And I'm heavier now than I was last year playing, which is not a bad thing. I usually like to be a little heavy before training camp. Was able to do today. A lot of single leg hops. And then we're just kind of a ramp up period. 20, 30-yard jogs, which is pretty fun. Just get off starts and felt great. This was the most I've ran today, actually. And we're 19 weeks to the day.
When you're watching practice, you see Mike Evans out there. Can the imagination run a little wild thinking about how he and you can pair up together to, put pressure on our opposing defense?
My initial answer to that is every single day that I see Mike, I just go, wow, Mike Evans is here. And I think I'm annoying him at this point, but it's still, I pinch myself every day. I also if you look back at the 49ers, this is the first legit veteran wide receiver I've had on my roster since Emmanuel Sanders in 2019, in my opinion. And nothing against all the other veteran receivers I've had, but he's a Hall of Famer who's a first team All-Pro, Pro Bowl guy. He's an incredible wide receiver. And just to see him run routes and the way that he sees things, it's just so fun. Because Emmanuel Sanders, because that was my third year when I had Emmanuel Sanders, and he was super savvy, did some cool things to get open and stuff like that. But Mike Evans just brings a whole new thing. You guys weren't here, Red Zone. I think he had 3 to 5 touchdowns in the first day. Like, he's incredible. And so that by itself is really fun. And I think like just he takes ball incredibly seriously. And I think that just kind of sets the tone for the wide receiver room, especially when you have a bunch of young guys in there. I think it's just very beneficial to the Niners that he's here. And it's not just his playmaking ability, but just how he treats it every single day.
Walk us through the recruiting process you did with him.
That's legal, right? I don't know. I don't think I can get in trouble. Can I, Corey? He's not listening. Let's see. He just hit me up probably like a couple days before like the free agency process was open. It was like, hey, like you just tell me about the Niners. I was like, well, what do you want to know? He just asked me like our practices, our facilities, and how the players are taken care of, which I think are all top notch. I mean, Jed York takes such good care of us, and all the money he puts back into us from the massage therapists, acupuncturists, the great cafeteria that we have with the really clean food, how much time and energy they spend on like getting us to be our best selves. The practice schedule. So he just was kind of a fan of that. He was a big fan of how we travel, like with the laydowns and stuff. And he's like, yep, I never had that. And I was like, it's crazy, but welcome to the 49ers. And then we talked again a couple days later and just kind of reiterated some of the same things. And he was just really excited about it.
Last year at this time we were asking a lot about the roster reset that kind of took place with all the young guys coming in. Mm-hmm. How different was it this year to kind of get back to like adding veterans who can help you win now? And how important was it to have the year you had last year to put you in position where you can kind of push back in?
Yeah. Last year was definitely different. We had a lot of, I felt like randomness to it, but like somehow we won 13 games with like half of our team, which was just like, it's a testament to this team and the foundation we've built as leaders. And then this year, it's just fun seeing everybody around. And then I will say, like, this has been a really fun rookie class for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. Like, I always try to tell rookies that the only way that you want people to know who you are is, like, what you do on the field and not because of, like, you tell jokes and you're funny. Like, you don't need that, especially at the start of your career. And this has been, like, the quietest rookie class I've ever been around. But, like, hey, you want to have a conversation with them, they'll definitely talk to you, which is really fun. But they're not – They understand that you're here to work, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that process so far. And I know the offensive guys a little bit better than the defensive guys, but I'm really happy with our offensive rookies.
How happy are you for Fleury to get that Seattle job and give us your impressions of your new tight end coach?
I'm just stoked for Fleury. I mean, he was a guy who I think he was the offensive coordinator of Towson at the age of 27, and then maybe not Towson, but something like that. But he just grinded, and then he was my assistant tight ends coach, and then he was my tight ends coach, and he was a run game coordinator, and now he's an OC, and he's an absolutely brilliant person and an awesome dude. So couldn't be happy for him and his family. I don't really wish him that much success, but I am stoked for him and his family because he works really hard for it, and he puts a lot of hours into it. So he's a guy who definitely deserves it. And then what else did you ask? And Cam's been really fun. I mean, I've gotten to know him a little bit over the last couple of years, being with the offensive line. It's a fun room because he used to play, so like he has his own vibe for what the room should be like, which is awesome. He kind of lets me soapbox once in a while, and then it's kind of fun too because he's so invested in the offensive line, so like he knows everything about all of the run calls and all of the pass game calls, like just protection wise. And so like just hearing that conversation is a way for me to learn something new. And so like now we're not all the way there yet, but like just how he installs it and like he knows all the code words and all that stuff, which it was like just kind of been, I'm like, I don't really need to know it, but if I do know it, it's helpful. So like that's been kind of cool to listen to him talk about that stuff. So definitely picking up some things on that. And like just a guy who he loves the run game. I love the run game. We're going to mesh on that. It's a little bit, us back and forth in the pass game stuff, running routes and stuff, because he is an offensive lineman. But overall, he's a very smart guy and he's very good at coaching. I'll give him that. He's doing a great job so far.
What kind of ambassador stuff do you have to do for the World Cup, and what are your plans for the next month?
I'll be in Nashville. You guys have fun in the Bay. Yeah, I'll be in Nashville. Juice will be here. You guys got him. He's fantastic. I might be in New York for the final. Who knows? Can't really pass that one up.
You say rookies don't need to make jokes?
Not necessarily. I'm just like, I don't want to hear your voice more than I see you play on a football field. Like, you want to impress everybody with how you're playing. Like, you want to go out. My rookie OTAs, like, my rookie year, I don't know if you guys remember this, but, like, you can ask Bobby Turner. He was like, I didn't even know George Kittle had a voice. Like, I never talked in meetings. You did not hear me at all, at any of the time, because I was just focusing on football. And, like, and I had a great OTAs. And, like, that's the only reason Joe Staley knew who I was because I made plays in OTAs. Like, that's what you want as a rookie. Like, I don't need you to be loudmouth. I don't need you to be talking crap to everybody. Like, I don't need that. And, like, you can still be a great football player. I'm just saying, like, for my 10 years, which is a crazy thing to say, being here for all these OTAs, the guys who are quiet and just go to work are usually the more successful guys.
Jokes.
Me, second year, immediately. Yeah, immediately. Me and Garrett Selleck, just clowns.
Last one, guys. Keelan Black.
That's the fourth time you've said last one, Chris. What's up?
What are your first impressions of Keelan Black?
Very fast. Very fast and very mature. What is he, 25? I like old rookies because, you know, they're ready to play. And you don't have to go through that immaturity part of the start, which, like, it's just when you play with mature players, they kind of understand, like, the sense of urgency is what I would say. Like, they're just ready for it. And that's been really cool. Thanks, guys.
get open for Brock.
Shanahan have you on the big board during a meeting recently? What was
Did he?
the-
I don't even know. He had me up on the big board? Oh, did he? No, I don't talk about what happens in the team room. So y'all trying to get me in trouble.
impact do you want to have on this offense, this team going into training camp? I mean, you've been in the league for quite some time. You have such a strong veteran presence. What do you want these guys to know about you coming in?
I just want to continue to do what I've been doing my whole career. That's making plays, being the ultimate team player, and the ultimate playmaker. So that's what I really want. And just let these guys know that, not to take this shit for granted, because you never know, what could happen. And our roster is a great roster. We stack up with the best of the best in the league. So just not taking these opportunities for granted.
More guys?
You knew of Brock Purdy before you got here, but now that you've been with him for a couple of weeks, what are your impressions?
Love Brock, man. He's a big reason why I came here. I said that in my initial Zoom call with you guys. Throws a really great ball. I'm getting the timing down with him now. Super smart. He's about his business too. Comes to work every single day. He's a quiet guy, but me and him talk, about not just football, but life. And really cool guy. Look forward to having a great connection with him this year.
Without having depth along, just multiple positions. A guy that struggled to stay healthy in basketball for years is Jacob Cowan. What have you seen from him? I know it's early, but what have you seen from Jacob Cowan over the last
A lot of juice. He has a lot of juice, and he can add a lot to this team. The speed down the field, the quickness. I've been here a few weeks, and he's made a lot of plays so far.
Football is about adjustment, and you had to adjust to a lot of different quarterbacks in Tampa Bay over your long career. Does that make it a little bit easier now?
I guess it makes it easier, playing with. But these guys are NFL quarterbacks. I mean, when I was in high school, I played with a high school quarterback. So no matter who the quarterback is, it's always been in my mind, my job to get open for them and make plays for them and make their job a little bit easier.
Mike, last year with the injury obviously snapped your streak of 1,000-yard seasons.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just kidding.
Breaking news. Sorry about that. How much of a point of pride is that? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you'd like to top Jerry Rice, but you're tied with Jerry Rice. And also, I guess, how disappointing was it to have that end?
I was super disappointed. I'm extremely competitive, and for me not to break that record, I thought I was going to be able to break it easy. You know what I mean? How hungry I was going into that season. And, in life, some things, it's not going to go your way. And so, but I look at that injury as a blessing in disguise, because I'm feeling really fresh. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I'm in a new spot, new change like I felt I needed. And I'm looking forward to get back on that. It's not a streak anymore, but do what I've been doing before that injury.
If I may ask not a follow-up, but how are you as an AAU basketball coach?
I feel like I'm a fair coach. I coach them hard, but I coach girls, so 14-year-old girls, so it's a lot to deal with. But we've been doing well. Our last tournament wasn't a great showing, but this year we've gotten better compared to last year. So looking forward to finish up the summer strong. I've met Jerry. Yeah, we've done a commercial together. Yeah, it was pretty cool to pick his brain and understand why he's the best to ever do it. And yeah, it was a fun moment. It was a couple years ago. We did it. Got to sit down and spend some time with him, so it was cool. Yep. All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, how's everybody doing? Pretty good.
What are you going through right now, physically?
Just a little soreness in my shoulder. Everything's clean and looks good, so just kind of being precautionary, I guess is the word. But yeah, I'll be ready for training camp.
Was there, at the end of last season and up to this point, had you given much thought, or did you think that there was a possibility that you could be traded to a team that wanted to make you their starter?
Yeah, there was definitely, obviously, a lot of speculation, and honestly, after a long year, I was just trying to enjoy it with my teammates and look back on the season. But yeah, I think there was some stuff out there, and it was made very clear to me that I was going to be here from this organization. So I'm fired up about it, and I kind of knew that was the situation early off season, and everything else is kind of between my agent and the coaches and whatever. But obviously, you want to have a chance to start, but I also love it here, and I'm not really in the business of leaving good people, so I'm not mad about it at all. I think it's a great organization and did a lot of fun stuff last year, but it's a new year, and I feel like this is the first year I've had when I've had the same offensive playbook being in the NFL, so that's kind of nice. If you go to a new team, you got to learn a new playbook again and kind of do everything over, so it's good. I'm excited and really just looking forward to the summer and getting everything going again.
I think you used the term last year a couple of times, getting the train back on the tracks. How do you keep how do you keep the train on the tracks? Like, what do you do when you go?
I'm not an engineer of train tracks, but yeah, that's a good question. I've thought about that, and I think one thing that I focused on last year was my mindset. I do put a lot of work into it, and at the end of the day, if you go out there on Sunday and you're not confident, it doesn't matter, I guess. So I know that if I go out there on Sunday and have the right mindset and have that warrior mentality, that I can play really good football. And I proved that last year, but the challenge is to do it again this year and really not compare the two. Like, every season's different, and I've learned that probably better than anybody. Had some ups and downs and started hot in the league and then got challenged, years 2, 3, and 4 or whatever. And now I feel like it's time to stack some good years here. So I'm looking at it as a positive, as, building on it, I guess is the right word. But yeah, I think some people, you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself, like, oh, I got to do what I did last year. You also don't want to be satisfied with what you did. So I think I'm in the right mindset, and I know the coaches and everybody feel the same way. Like, we have a good football team, and we're going to be healthy this year and have a chance to do some good stuff.
Had a football in the bank last year. How important was that for you, just to establish that or reestablish yourself like in that way?
Yeah, for sure. It was good. I think it was important for me just to have fun and get around this group of guys and continue to be with these guys, because it's a good group in the locker room and got a lot of older guys, but now we have some younger guys too, and I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. Hopefully I'm not old yet, but 27 still. So anyways, but yeah, I feel like last year was good for me, and just getting everything going in the right direction. But like I said, this year is a new year, and that's the NFL. You can't really look back or look forward. You kind of just got to be where your feet are, and I know that I can play in this system, and I know that I can play even better in this system, and I got good support from Coach Kyle and Clay and everybody, so I feel good about it.
Apologies for talking about your money here, but I mean, based on the way you played, you're probably underpaid.
Thank you.
Quality backup quarterback at this point. Was the $300,000 like an acknowledgement of a thank you gift, or like, like, hey, you probably should be paid a little more, or what was that about?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really going to go into it because it was kind of supposed to be a quieter thing, and it was something to do with last year, but I'm really grateful for it, and I love the Yorks and everybody, and it was good to have that gesture sent my way, and for me, I want to build on it and have another good year, and it's never been really about the money for me, to be honest. I'm just glad that I'm having fun again. That's priceless to me, and obviously winning. Last year we didn't finish where we wanted to finish, but just getting back to winning football games, like, there's a dollar sign in my mind that's very important. So that's what I care about. Everything else will come, and it's part of God's plan, not my plan.
Last year you had good receivers, but they were different receivers. This year you got, seems like, a lot more speed at wide receiver.
Yeah.
What's it like? How does that change your job and Brock's job when you have so much more speed and you can maybe challenge and down the field a bit more?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I've been fortunate to play with some fast guys in the past, but the guys we brought in, and everyone's a little different. Mike Evans is tall and has a really long stride and is a vertical threat throughout his career. It's just crazy that we're on the same team now. I used to play with him in Madden, but he's still killing it, and he looks great in OTAs. Christian Kirk I play with in Jacksonville is quick, has good downfield stuff, and Stribling and Ricky. The list goes on. We got some good young guys. Cowing looks good too. So I've been really pleased just watching it. It's been kind of interesting just to watch practice a little bit and see different guys move. But yeah, I think pushing the ball down the field is important, kind of eliminating some of those longer drives where you can have some explosives and let those guys get behind the defense. And there's a lot that goes into that, scheme, protection, all that stuff. But I feel like we got the guys to do it, and we're definitely going to do that this year.
Where were you, and what was the reaction when quarterbacks when you find out Myles Garrett's going to be on the other side a couple times a year?
Yeah. I think I was in the hallway, but someone showed it to me. I was like, it's AI, whatever. But then they were like, I saw the blue check, and I was like, no, click on his profile. I want to see it. I forgot who it was. It was a defensive player, but it was Malik. Yeah, Malik came up to me. I was like, shoot, that's crazy. But no, Myles is a great player. I've played against him a few times, and very talented. That roster that they've built there is incredible, and we had a really good division. So got to focus on us, but doesn't make it easier for sure.
A lot of guys.
Your group of wide receivers is going to be able to change what you can do on the field.
Hopefully a lot. I'm not a fortune teller, but I do think these guys have really good talent. I think there's a different group of people than we had last year, personalities, and we got some older vets that have played a lot and some young guys. So you're going to get a really good group, a good mix, I guess. And I'm not a coach, but if I was a coach, I would want that kind of the elevator of young guys to old guys, quick guys, fast guys, tall guys, short guys. So you got a little bit of everything, and I'm excited to work in training camp with them, and we got some great work in pre-OTAs too.
Curiosity, you came in last season where the locker room was about like youth and helping to pull the youth along and get them adjusted, whereas now it's like a lot of veterans back in the building. You got Dre Greenlaw and Mike Evans and so many others.
Yeah.
Does it feel different in the locker room given how much veteran experience has now been infused into the team?
For sure, yeah, that's a great question. And like last year, I feel like we had a lot of young guys play, and that'll help this year because you have rookies that are second-year guys, and they've learned from some great players last year. And then now, whether they're starting or backup, that means you have more depth because your young guys that played last year might not be playing as much or whatever the situation is because we have some guys coming back from injury or guys in free agency like Dre. But anyways, we have a deep roster, I feel like, and that's going to help. Obviously, as we've seen, like any NFL team, you're going to go through some stuff, and you want to have guys that have played football and learn from some good people too. So I'm excited. Had some good conversation with the rookies. Like they ask a lot of good questions, and it makes me feel old. But I mean, it's my 6th year, so anytime they ask me, I want to tell them, what was it like for me as a rookie, and what did I struggle with, and what did I do good from year 1 to year 2 for those guys that you're talking about, like Stout or whoever who played a lot. It's like, what do you have to do to year 2 to not to have that fall off and all that stuff. So it's been good.
Last year, when you got in, say, week 2, was the playbook for you, like, what am I trying to say? Was it more, like, if you get in week 2 this year, do you have much more of the playbook at your disposal just because you know more of this offense? Or kind of week 2 last year, did you kind of had to absorb much of this?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was pretty detailed. Like I always look back at our call sheets in the off season and kind of watch games. Like I watched the Saints game, and we were running all the same plays that we run now and ran throughout the year. But yeah, I think obviously when it's your first start in a new offense, like Kyle's not going to go out there and put me in physics right away, But I feel like each game we progressed, and when I first got here, that was the challenge, was like learning the plays, and they're 20 words long, but it also made me like understand everything, and that helped me in the season because we install a lot of plays each week, and I felt really prepared. So I didn't really think about it like that, but definitely going through the off season, like the calls just come in easier and quicker, and my job is to, like I said, focus on the mindset for me, like going out there on Sundays, and I prepare a lot, and I showed last year that I can carry that into a game. So just focus on the mindset of like, yeah, that's what I do. On Sunday, I'll be ready to play, or whenever we play. Go ahead.
Early this offseason, was it clear that you'd be coming back? Were you made?
Pretty early. Yeah. I felt really good about it. I mean, like I said, I kind of stayed out of everything, but as you guys know, there was stuff out there, and like I said, it's good to be talked about or whatever. But when you're coming back to be a backup, I'm also cool with that too because I learned so much, and like I said, I'm not in the business of leaving good people, so I feel like I can stack another good year whenever I'm needed. That's my job, is to support Brock. It's his team, and he played very well towards the end of the year, and I feel like it was just a lot of fun. So we want to continue the good vibes in there, and I'm looking forward to trying not to focus on the future, just focus on now. And like I said, this summer for me is going to be critical. just getting healthy and really just taking my body to another level. So I'm excited for the challenge and apply it during the preseason.
Playing, you obviously started for about half the season. Then when you went back to the bench, did that experience, having played in the system, help you assist Brock in a different way, in a better way?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think every year is different. I've played the beginning 8, like last year or whatever, and then the year before that I played the last 8 in Jacksonville. So it's kind of interesting, like you're learning different ways. And with Brock this year, obviously he's played in the system, so I'm not going to tell him anything he doesn't already know. But a lot of it as a backup quarterback is just validation, like, hey, on that route right there, was he open or not? And you just have to see the play with a clear eye and be like, nah, dude, you're good. It wasn't open. Or I think that's what Brock wants. And trust me, I've been in Brock's shoes. I don't want someone like talking to me after every play, like, dude, you missed this. Like, that's not really my job. So Brock knows that, and but he wants the information. That's what I love about him. So when I got to play, I kind of took information from everybody, the coaches, players too, just because that's how you learn quickly on the field. Like, what did I see versus what did they see? So
85% on the
10. Sorry.
Sorry. Obviously, if you'd signed a 1-year contract last March, you would have been a free agent. Maybe you would have come back. I don't know. But we saw Darnold do the 1-year thing.
Yeah.
And turned out pretty well for him. Did the 49ers insist on a 2-year deal last year and tell you this could be the situation where even if you play great, they're just going to keep you?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's hard because what if it went the other way? What if I was on a 1-year deal and played like crap, and then I'm on the street? So I'll take any years you can get in the league. Just being on a team is a blessing for me, and obviously I have a higher ceiling than just that, but that's the basis. Like, you want to make sure you're good to go. So I'm not stressing about it. I think it's all good. I think people are seeing what type of teammate I can be, and to do something again twice is sometimes good. Like I said, I haven't. Honestly, since college, I haven't had the same coordinator since 2019 in back-to-back years. So this will be the first time. So it'll be interesting to see if I can stack a good year. And, the 1-year versus 2-year thing is definitely a legit question, but it'll all work out how it's supposed to. Thank you. See you guys.